Well, don't shame them, Frank. Sorry. Hi. How's everybody doing? Where's everybody? What is Rick saying? Sorry, I'm reading and I shouldn't be reading. I should be saying hi to everybody. I'm curious what the whole thing about the days of the week was, Rick. Hope I didn't miss it. Let's do the roll call. Well, John did the roll call, so I'll do what John did. Bill K, John. Wait, Bill K again? Hank, Matthew, Donna, Frank, Gary, Nathaniel, Chuck, Rob, Rick. Not Rob, Rick. It's two different people. Web just made it so good. We're talking about TV today, and we can talk about why we're talking about TV if you want to. Why don't we go ahead and yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's do a show, or let's do a show about shows, or let's talk about TV. I don't know. We'll figure it out as we go. Brian was also here. Okay, well now we can start. Here we go. This is Friday Night TV? No, WandaVision. Right, hold on. As will be seen on TV, it is Friday, the 19th of February, 2021, and this is macOS Can Live. I don't know about you. Friday is TV night for me. I watch, whatever comes on Apple TV Plus, if I happen to be watching anything that's on Apple TV Plus. So nothing there lately, but boy, oh boy, is WandaVision good. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. Hi, everybody. It's Ken Ray welcoming you to another edition of macOS Ken Live, this thing that we do Monday through Friday, 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, other times, other places. Ask the people one time zone over, because they might be able to tell you. It is born of a show that I do Monday through Friday called macOS Ken, which has been going for about 15 years now, where we talk about Apple news and news related to Apple news. And not unlike what I said 2 weeks ago now, who would have ever thought that that would mean a whole show about television? In 2006, why would you talk about television? Apple, I think, had the year before, the fall before, they had put video on the iPod, and they did a deal with ABC that gave them, I want to say, four shows that you could get on your iPod, which was about that big, because there was no, and you couldn't, and it was. I guess you could watch it on your Mac. Anyway, point is, times change, and we're all getting old. So Apple did a thing today. What was it? Oh man, I might have actually deleted that part. I think it was the dag nabbit. I did. The thing that they presented at, because they presented at something today, the Television Critics Association, maybe, is it TCA? The critic was something like that. Basically, they showed off all their TV stuff that's coming. So there was nothing about movies, although there was a sizzle reel. It was about 2 minutes long that showed clips of things that are coming. And that did have some movie stuff in it. It had like a couple of clips from On the Rocks. It had clips from the upcoming film Cherry. Palmer figured pretty prominently into that, I guess partly because it's a tearjerker and partly because it has led to Apple TV Plus's best 2 weekends ever, I suppose. Palmer is their most watched film to this point, which I still haven't had a chance to see. Well, I say I haven't had a chance to see it. I haven't taken the opportunity to see it because there's far too much stuff. Anyway, what they focused on today, because it was a television critics thing, is television. Go figure. Number of series that I had forgotten were happening because there's so much stuff coming. And the thing is, you get an announcement and then it goes into production and you kind of forget that that's a thing that they're working on, because why do you care? Who knows when it's coming out? And all of a sudden we have all this news now. For example, The Mosquito Coast. This is really interesting. This is the 40th anniversary of this novel. And the thing is, that means the novel came out in 1981, I guess. 80, 81, 82, somewhere around there. If this year is the 40th anniversary, then it would be 81. There was a Harrison Ford movie based on that novel, and I want to say 86, 86, 87, somewhere around there. And now, 30 some odd years later, they're doing a series from award-winning novelist Neil Cross and based on the best-selling book by Paul Theroux, which celebrates its 40th anniversary this year. The Mosquito Coast is a gripping adventure and layered character drama following the dangerous journey of a radical idealist and brilliant inventor, Ali Fox, played by Justin Theroux, who uproots his family from Mexico when they suddenly find themselves on the run from the U.S. government. All right, sure, sounds fun. The cast looks good. Yeah, it's 7 episodes total. The first 2 episodes will hit on Friday, the 30th of April. And that's the next new thing coming as far as Apple is concerned. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of a lag here, and I'm trying to figure out why. It's because I have something open that's trying to find something else on the internet. Hopefully, I've taken care of it. We'll move on. The next thing coming is Mythic Quest. It returns on the 7th of May, and we're going to stick a pin in that one and come back to it in a minute because that's the one, honestly, that raises the most questions for me. Because, yeah, I'm not just here saying, hey, guess what's coming on TV. There are a couple of things that actually, well, they raise questions, like I say. So we'll come back to those in a second. Here's a weird one, and this is... When I heard that Mythic Quest was coming, I wasn't overly impressed. I was mildly curious. I wasn't overly impressed, and it blew me away. When I heard that Ted Lasso was coming, I hated the idea, and it blew me away more than Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet did. So when you say Schmigadoon to me, Schmigadoon is a parody of iconic musicals. It stars Cecily Strong and Keegan-Michael Key as a couple on a backpacking trip designed to reinvigorate their relationship when they discover a magical town in which everyone is living in a studio musical from the 1940s. They then discover that they can't leave until they find true love. The first season of 6 episodes. The first season of the 6-episode series also stars Alan Cumming, Kristen Chenoweth, Aaron Tveit, Dove Cameron, Ariana DeBose, Fred Armisen, Jamie Camel, Jane Krakowski, and Anne Harada. Could be funny. Executive produced by Lorne Michaels, of course, of Saturday Night Live fame. Could be really funny. Could be one joke spread over the first season of 6-episode series, something. I won't say I'm excited. I will say I'm intrigued because that seems to be the riskiest thing they've tried so far. It's a musical, though. It's a musical comedy series. You're going to do that every episode? Not since Cop Rock has anybody tried something so brave. We'll see what happens. We don't know when that's coming out, just sometime this summer. Physical, starring Rose Byrne. This is a long description, but stick with me. Set in the idyllic but fragile beach paradise of sunny 1980 San Diego, Physical is a half-hour dark comedy following Sheila Rubin, played by Byrne, a quietly tortured, seemingly dutiful housewife supporting her smart but controversial husband's bid for state assembly. But behind closed doors, she's unhappy until she finds the world of aerobics. At first hook on the exercise itself, Sheila's real road to empowerment comes when she discovers a way to merge this newfound passion with the burgeoning technology of videotape to start a revolutionary business. The series tracks her epic journey from a stifled, overlooked enabler to a powerful, confident economic force as Sheila transforms into someone we take for granted today, but was entirely radical at the time, the female lifestyle guru. 10 episodes. It premieres sometime this summer, and somewhere in there I accidentally activated. Yeah, okay. You do that. Somewhere in there I accidentally activated Siri. So, yay. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what it's trying to do.
Okay. Found this on the web for strives for epic journey from a stifled, overlooked enabler to a powerful, confident economic forces. Sheila transforms into someone we take for granted today. What was entirely
I have no idea what that was. Sorry. Anyway, I can't believe it actually found something for that. What's interesting to me about this series, there are two things. First of all, I like the idea of telling the story of somebody, a story of empowerment. That's like really great. The other thing that's really interesting. Did any of you guys see Glow? I think it's the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. Is that what it's called? The woman from Community is in that, and I can't remember. Not Jillian Jacobs, but the other one whose name escapes me. She was in it. Mark Maron was in it, and then some other people whose face you recognize, but you don't necessarily know their names. That is also kind of a story of empowerment for those people. At least the first season was. I did not see the second or third season, so I don't know about that. It very much has that same look and feel because it's 1980s. It's women driven, physical, and sexy, for lack of a better term. And I'm not saying I personally find it sexy. I'm saying it was a 20-minute workout, the Jane Fonda workout, Glow, things along those lines, had a certain sexiness of the time to them. I'm watching, just like a couple of snippets from Physical, and it reminded me, like, you could tell me that was from Glow, and I'd be like, yeah, I got no problem believing that. That'll be an interesting one as well, although I'm going to wait for the reviews. Lissy's Story. That comes out this summer, by the way. Lissy's Story, based on the best-selling novel by Stephen King and adapted by the author himself. Lissy's Story is a deeply personal thriller that follows Lissy Landon, played by Julianne Moore, 2 years after the death of her husband, famous novelist Scott Landon, played by Clive Owen. A series of unsettling events causes Lissy to face memories of her marriage to Scott that she has deliberately blocked out of her mind. Joan Allen, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Dane DeHaan, Sung Kong, and Ron Cephas Jones star alongside Moore and Owen. Every episode of this was written by Stephen King. Limited series comes out sometime this summer. It's a lot of stuff coming out over the next few months, and now we get the Mythic Quest, which is the thing that, really kind of weirded me out. I watched, like I say, I watched that 2-minute sizzle. No, that wasn't the 2-minute sizzle reel. Some of these things have 1-minute previews. Some of them don't. Mythic Quest has a preview. Mosquito Coast has a preview. Schmigadoon does not. I wish it did because I would like to be more excited about that. Lissy's Story does not. Foundation does not. Foundation's not coming out this summer, but they teased it a bit. But I watched the 1-minute trailer for Mythic Quest, and they're in the office. They're doing the stuff that they've always done. They're outside having lunch. They're doing all those things, right? Which is not a questionable thing until one of the characters says, the woman who works in HR says, I miss remote working. Here's Apple's description. With the quarantine finally over, season 2 of Mythic Quest finds everyone back in the office, well, almost everyone, attempting to build upon the success of Raven's Banquet and launching an epic new expansion. But Ian, played by Rob McElhenney, and the newly promoted co-creative director Poppy, played by Charlotte Nicotto, struggle with the game's direction. And there's other stuff about other stuff. Apparently, the game testers are finally going to get together. And if you watch the show, that might make you happy. It might not. I don't know. They can't really ignore the pandemic because the quarantine episode of Mythic Quest was amazing. And if you didn't watch Mythic Quest, then it probably wouldn't be amazing to you. But these were deeply flawed, deeply troubled characters in this series. And then Rob McElhenney and Charlie Day, who was a co-creator on not only this, but also on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is still in production, which I had no idea, but it's still in production. They decided they wanted to do something around the pandemic, about the pandemic. And they had 2 shows with which they could work. They could do It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or they could do Mythic Quest. Both series feature flawed characters, but the guys from It's Always Sunny wouldn't necessarily follow the rules, wouldn't necessarily take it seriously. And McElhenney and Day, and I can't remember, Gantz, I believe, is the other, Megan Gantz. I hope I'm getting her name right. They didn't feel like the people from It's Always Sunny would actually take it seriously or would treat it reverently, those characters. And so they decided to do Mythic Quest. And if you didn't see it, it's both uplifting and incredibly sad. And the thing that's most interesting about it is it came at a time where we all thought this was going to be a short-lived thing. Now, granted, vaccines are rolling out. We're starting to get a bit back more to normal, but conferences and stuff are still being canceled. People are still not sure when or if they're going to have all of their workers back in the office. We still don't know how things are going to go. And so there's something really interesting about Mythic Quest deciding to put itself firmly in a post-pandemic world. They're back in the office. Everything, everything's fine as far as they're concerned. Was talking it over with a friend of mine earlier today. She argues that it was a lack of imagination. Why do I say friend of mine? I was talking it over with my special lady friend. What do you want from me? She says it shows a lack of imagination. The fact that they're trying to write it as if, well, that's behind us. And I can see that. I can also see saying that it's aspirational, saying, well, we're going to get through this. And when we do, we're going to be back up to the stuff that we were up to. So why don't we tell those stories? It is weird to think about the fact that they're deciding to do that on a production that ended up having to be shut down 2 times that we know about because there was so much coronavirus on set. It's kind of gallows humor is not quite the right word, but feels a bit uncomfortable. Found myself wondering about Ted Lasso. Is Ted Lasso going to happen in a post-pandemic world, or did the pandemic never happen in the Ted Lasso world? Because think about watching this stuff 5 years from now, right? Or 3 years from now, when, fingers crossed, knock wood, spit and spin, whatever you want to do. This is a memory. It's not a totally forgotten memory, but it's a receding memory. It seems like I heard somebody, ask the question, as media started to come in as books and movies, certainly because there weren't TV shows because there was no TV. After the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, not a lot of movies and books, at least not a lot that survived about that because people want to get shut of it, right? They want to put it out of their mind. If you're making a show now, if you're making, one of these things, do you acknowledge it and move on, or do you try to create a world where it just didn't happen? That happened in real life, but as cool as Ted Lasso is, it's not real life. It's an interesting, and this is the kind of thing. Look, I did a show where we analyzed episodes of Star Trek for 7 years. That show is still going. I just, hopped off at year 7.5, I think. So thinking about the stories that we tell, it goes back to the thing that Tim Cook said when he announced Apple TV Plus. Great stories can change the world. Thinking about how these stories are told is something that just fascinates me. So there we go. Apple TV Plus did also show. I don't even know if they. I feel like this is not true. I mentioned that there was a 2-minute reel, right? And they had like so many like quick cuts that I couldn't tell what things were from. If I wasn't excited about Foundation, I wouldn't know that I was listening to a guy talking from Foundation. They showed a picture of Lee Pace, who was one of the characters in Foundation, and then there was a guy speaking whose name I can't remember. He was in Chernobyl, the HBO series, and he's been in some other stuff too. He's one of those guys. He was in Mad Men. He played Lane Price in Mad Men, and I can't think of his name, but he was speaking. But if I weren't excited about Foundation, I would not know that I had seen a clip of Foundation. And yet, Apple's press release says not only did they show a clip of Foundation, they also showed a clip of Mr. Corman and The Shrink Next Door, as well as the upcoming second seasons of award-winning series, The Morning Show, Truth Be Told, Central Park, and C. Well, Central Park you can pick out because it's a cartoon. C you can pick out because it's like Mad Max in a rainforest, and The Morning Show because it's Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. The other thing that I find interesting really quickly, the morning show is coming back this summer, and Ted Lasso is coming back this summer, which makes me think that they've got enough stuff going that they don't have to worry anymore. Now, I don't know when they actually start charging the $5 or if they'll ever actually start charging the $5. Could be like the last administration's infrastructure week. It could be like, good night, Wesley, sleep well. I'll most likely kill you in the morning. It could be that they're just going to keep saying, yeah, we're going to charge you $5 someday, but in the meantime, have another free year. They're bringing Ted Lasso back this summer. I would think that you would want to hold that until the fall or the winter. That's not even the normal amount of time between series, right? They're going fast on that. And they're bringing back the morning show this summer, which you kind of have to do because that's going to be about a year and a half between the end of the first season and the beginning of the second season on that one. But they're just going full bore. And that's before you even get to all the movies that they're not talking about because this is just a TV thing. I don't know that Apple TV Plus is ever going to be important, but I personally find it endlessly fascinating. I could talk about it, well, for about 20 minutes before I say I think that's going to do it for us this week. I'm curious if you heard anything in that list that's really exciting to you. It's well, I wanted to say I'm not overly excited about the Mosquito Coast, but honestly, I know almost nothing about it. It feels weird that it's a retread. I remember that coming out when I was a teenager, and now they're doing it as a series, and it's, okay. But the thing is, I never saw the Harrison Ford movie, and I never read the book. So maybe if I had, I would. Who can say? I'm curious if there's anything that you're excited about. I'm curious if any of it raises any questions for you. I'm curious if you're curious about any of it. Maybe you could email me and we could share our curiosity together. Info@macosken.com is the way to do that. INFO, info@macosken.com. If you want to talk about that or anything else that's out there, because there's always something out there. In a few minutes, kicks off again Monday morning. macOS Ken kicks off again Monday morning. We will get together and do this again Monday afternoon. And I'll talk to you soon. Let me stop the recording, which I did start. The recording has stopped. Here we go. Sorry, I just happened to catch this. I'm going to go back up to the top. But Brian says, it's interesting how the Apple fitness trainers barely acknowledge the pandemic, and I appreciate that. It's weird to watch the Mythic Quest clips and see no masks and no social distancing. Not just because of what we know happened on set. Hey, Nathaniel says it's video game night for him. What are you playing, Nathaniel? I'm curious. Frank is watching Servant. That's interesting. I didn't get past the third or fourth episode on Servant. It was just too creepy, and I couldn't see where it was going. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yes, Frank, on a podcast, we're talking about TV. Eugene Glover quoting Steve Jobs. Nobody would ever want to watch TV on an iPod. I forgot about the fact, though, you could watch it on your Mac. Frank Petrie wants Bond. They have a number of Bond films available on YouTube, Frank. Not stolen, not pirated, just available. Eugene has both the best and worst idea ever. My mother, the automated car or autonomous car. He says my mother, the autonomous EV. But if you want people to know it's a reboot, my mother, the autonomous car. Is Lorne Michaels involved in Ted Lasso? Honestly, I don't know. I don't think it's a Broadway video thing, and that's his production company. Ted Lasso was not a Saturday Night Live thing, it was an NBC thing for when they were bringing soccer to NBC. You call it Le Zurier, when they were bringing football to NBC. So I don't know if Lorne Michaels is involved with that or not. And honestly, I don't think I watched the full credits, so I don't remember the Broadway video thing coming up at the end. Maybe I could accidentally ask Siri and she'll take 25 minutes answering me. Oh, interesting. Eugene says, oh, wait, hold on. I never saw Gallivant, Hank. Eugene, are you saying that Schmigadoon parodies a different famous musical? Or are you asking? Because I don't know. It says they live in a 1940s studio musical, so I don't know. I'm intrigued by the idea. I mean, it would make a good movie, or it could make a good movie. The series feels risky, but what's it going to take me? 30 minutes to find out whether I like it? All right, I'll try it. Pardon, I apologize. Reboot Mazes and Monsters. Can we get Tom Hanks to play the Dungeon Master? And can we get Chris Makepeace some work, please? There you go. Matthew says Tom Hanks could come back as a grandfather. Allison Brie, thank you. Thank you very much, John. And Hank. Okay, Hank, is it really pronounced with a hard G, or was that just Dan Harmon kidding? Because I thought when Dan Harmon did that on the table read that he was joking. Like us in the chat room. I wish I could like you guys in the chat room. Is there a way to like you? Well, hold on. Wait. No, I can report you. I can remove you. I can't like you. That stinks. Well, I do like you, Frank. Trust me. Mythic Quest did do a wonderful, yes. The quarantine episode, I've watched it again since as well. And it's heartbreaking. I mean, it's wonderful, but it's heartbreaking. So I think you can't really pretend it didn't happen unless you want to go ahead and take that as a thing just out of time. There's just something weird about referring to it as, having happened when a lot of us aren't going to be vaccinated yet by the time it premieres, let alone be out and about doing the stuff that we would normally do. And now it's the part where Brian says the trainers barely acknowledged the pandemic. This is where we came in. Eugene asks if there's a window that shows have to air in to be considered for award season. I don't know, honestly. I mean, obviously, television used to run on the same schedule. Started in the fall and ended in the spring. People took the summer off and we started again. These days, I don't know. There's I would imagine there is some kind of window. I know that there's a thing that happens in LA, the FYC, for your consideration, where everybody buys billboards and ads and magazines and newspapers and all kinds of stuff to remind people, hey, you really like Jason Sudeikis in Ted Lasso, right? So I don't know the answer to your question. I'm sorry. Matthew says he wants, yeah, that'd be cool. He wants Apple TV to incorporate local channels so he doesn't have to depend on over-the-air antenna when he watches over-the-air content. Man, can you imagine how difficult that would be, though? Someone said about a decade ago that Apple would become an entertainment company. Who said that, Frank? It's a computer company. It's a services company. It's a phone company. It's a computer company. It's a services company. It's a phone company. Do you get it? Also, it's a floor wax. It's a dessert topping. Call of the Sea. I don't know Call of the Sea, Nathaniel. I want to ask you more questions about it, but I'm not going to. And the floor wax. See, Eugene did the same thing. There you go. Oh, but I was late. And then Matthew did the dessert topping. Okay. Eugene says Lorne Michaels is not part of Ted Lasso, according to Wikipedia, source of all knowledge. And then Webb says IMDb also says that Lorne Michaels is not part of it. So I think we can go with not part of it. Hank says it is Gillian Jacobs. Okay, cool. That's great. I will make that mistake forever. I feel fairly certain. Gary's going to try to watch For All Mankind. Yeah, I keep thinking about, well, I said that a week or two ago. I keep thinking about going back and trying it, and just not a Ron Moore fan. Oh, interesting. Frank's in the mood for All Mankind because of Perseverance. That is good news, Nathaniel, about your grandparents, too. Oh, Call of the Sea. I know what you're talking about. Somebody in the house was playing it. Why do I keep doing that? My special lady friend was playing it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Cool, because there are almost no video games you could name that I would know what you were talking about. So there we go. And thank you for doing it, Webb. Webb says he's happy to have contributed to today's post show. There we go. Right. I have no plans for the weekend, but I'm going to go get started on them. That's not true, actually. I'm going to record in a few minutes. But otherwise, I got no plans for the weekend, and I'm going to go get started on them. Yeah, I got a lot of not so special lady friends, Frank. They're all special, but they're not all my special lady friend, if you know what I'm saying. There we go. All right. Everybody, please take care of yourself. Please stay safe. Please have a wonderful weekend. We'll get back together on Monday. And I will, hold on, I'm going to do it again. Talk to you soon. Take care.